TIL in Sierra Leone, before getting a driver's license, you have to buy a board game called The Driver's Way and play it at least once. The game involves rolling stoplight-themed dice and moving models of classic cars around a board, together with answering questions about the country's road laws. Makes sense? That's why if you want to work at the FBI, it's a good idea to prove to them you can win a game of Clue. How is it enforced? In the good old days, all you had to do to get a driver's license was, prove that you could drive. But now, at least in Sierra Leone, you have to play a board game before you can even take the licensing test. The game is called The Driver's Way and requires players to roll stoplight-themed dice and move models of classic cars around a board, Reuters reports. They must also answer questions about the country's road laws, traffic signs, and so on. The game costs 60,000 leones, or about $14, currently about $6. Wannabe drivers have to pay for it themselves, and then play it at least once before they can come in for their test. Most crashes here are a result of ignorance of the highway code, the game's creator, Maury Lenghor, told Reuters. And most drivers don't even understand half the road signs. She added that since most young people hate reading, she thought she'd try putting the important traffic laws into a format more attractive to them. Why not just Snapchat them, in 2020, show them on TikTok, driving rules then? Imagine if you had to play Monopoly before getting a business license, or if you had to play Life before living. I'm sure whoever manufactures this board game was thrilled when they finally passed the stupid idea they had been lobbying for. Minimum wage there comes to about $50 USD a month, and they have to buy the game, which comes to about $14 USD after conversion. I bet the game is sold exclusively by the president's sister. Well, I've been to Sierra Leone and can tell you that the board game has done shit all for road safety. Every car drives like the night bus from Harry Potter. What they don't tell you is that the board game is sole sourced through the president's nephew. Welcome to Africa, bitches. Parker brothers have entered the chat. Hello big government. Lemme guess, the government official who authored and campaigned for this law is the same one who owns the royalties for the game. This is how we did it decades ago in Singapore when a large part of the population were illiterate. You'll push a toy car on a board with different situations, cross junctions, T-junctions, merging lanes etc., and narrate how you will approach the different situations. This is in lieu of the written theory test, before you go for the road test. In fact, we did this when I was getting my military driving license a decade ago. Created an account to comment on this. I lived in Freetown in 2017, and this is bullshit. I got my license there, it was just cash and a picture. There's no written or driving test. That said, for a city as small as Freetown, driving is a nightmare. People are terrible, selfish drivers. People get run over and killed all the time. Classic cars. Picture of carrot car. What's the BGG rating on this game? Is it a roll and move or area control game with some worker placement? More Euro or a merry thrash? When I was a kid I heard you could buy an AK-47 there for the same price as a chicken. In America children must play GTA San Andreas and obey all traffic laws for 30 minutes. Seems fair I had to play Secret Hitler before I became an ineffective Democrat in the Weimar Republic during the 1930s. Fascists and their crazy rules. As a collector of strange and unusual board games, I'd love to get a copy of this for myself. Where might I be able to buy this one? It may not be a free country, but their capital is a free town. Edit, I'm joking. They have a democratically elected government, from what I understand. The name of the capital was too irresistible to pass up. They claim it's because young people hate reading, but I suspect the real reason is because the literacy rate in Sierra Leone is only 45%. Shit. I'm Sierra Leonean. How come I don't know this? LOL. Let me guess, El Presidente's son also so happens to have exclusive rights to manufacture and sell the game. Sounds like some government official is buddies with the board game manufacturer. I am an expat in another West African country. I know how things work here in Ghana, and from what I've heard, the systems are quite universal throughout this region. There are a couple different prices for getting your driver's license. One is a premium service, which is basically a fast track. I'd be surprised if this board game things often happens as the law is written. Another thing I've noticed here is that people don't know how to drive. Many who have driver's licenses should not have them. A couple of my colleagues have gone through driving school, and their skill is roughly equal to my 11-year-old son's, who has only driven around a yard and drive. Also, many drivers don't actually have a driver's license. There are police checkpoints all over, which I call toll booths. You could have the most illegal thing you can think of in your vehicle, and a bit of cash makes it invisible. That's how they can operate without licenses. Plays the game of life once and I thought I had the whole world figured out. Huh, how naive I was last week. That would be a pretty cool thing to have in schools. I don't mean making kids play it, just having it in the classroom to play with when the teacher lets them have some playtime. Not so much focused on answering questions, rather it could have gameplay elements that require a basic understanding of road rules. Like maybe the game path could have intersections and whoever has right of way gets to pick up a bonus card or something. Am I the only one who likes this idea? It is memorable, which is exactly what rules of the road should be. Can you not just lend the game to all your friends as they need it? Sierra Leonean here, did not know this thinking face. Census Bureau does something similar for their employees. The guy who made that law also made the board game. So do they have fewer traffic accidents and infractions than any other country as a result? I was too lazy to read. What model of classic car is this? https://imager.com/a/fnvsstg. Ah yes, that classic car. The giant carrot. That game board looks like the playmat that everyone in the 90s had when they were a kid. Hello. I am president of Sierra Leone and board game tycoon. And this is my AMA. That seems like the craziest place to have a cool way to sort of learn to drive. I think this is a cute idea. I wonder who owns the rights. And as a result they're only 12th worst in the world for road accidents. Big board game making its way into government once again. Government and games should be separate. Wake up sheeple. Okay. So this board game was created by a guy who's related to someone in government who created that particular requirement then? Call me a cynic, but this bullshit ain't about teaching or safety or public good, this is someone getting hooked up is my bet. Some corrupt bureaucrat owns the company that makes these games, no doubt. I feel that a driver's test should include a coloring section as to see who can stay inside the lines. Yeah, I think they're going to need more than a board game to succeed on the roads in Sierra Leone. Apparently, the quality of roads is poor with only about 8% of the country's roads being paved. And https://driverabroad.com/https://driverabroad.com/ notes that traveling after dark isn't recommended, especially outside Freetown. There are occasional unauthorized, possibly armed, roadblocks outside Freetown, where travelers might be asked to pay a bribe to proceed. Kids may also run a rope across the road on approach to beaches at weekend and attempt to obtain loose change from drivers. Drivers often have had no formal training and consequently driving standards are often poor. Accidents are common, particularly outside Freetown where traffic is lighter and consequently speeds are higher. Isn't an electronic test common in most countries? That's the same outcome but using a different medium.